Howdy ho, people. It is September 1st, and this is like the second video that I've had the whole summer. So that tells you how well the summer's been going spearfishing wise for me. Between the wind machine, that was July, my work schedule this summer, which is heavier than normal, and the bad viz in August, the opportunities have been pretty low. With that said, what little spearfishing that I have got to do has been pretty decent. I've had some decent fish shot. So pretty much the videos you're about to watch are the culmination of pretty much whatever I was able to do from like June, I guess, until pretty much now, September 1st. So, and some of that, as you'll see, was especially at the beginning of it, I was trying to experiment with some things with my gun that didn't prove to be a very good idea. And I'll talk about that in the video. But then I've recovered pretty well, and I was able to fix that problem and get back to shooting some fish. So, and the fish I did shoot were pretty decent. We even got Brother Lewis came and dove with me during this time period. So we got him on it in some of these videos as well. You remember Lewis from videos past. So sit back and enjoy. Hope you enjoy it. And probably the next video after this will hopefully be in the flounder season. Get some flounder action going on. So till then, later, people. So this is earlier in the year, and I'm doing some experimentation here. I try to make a quick release for my spear shaft, so I could go back and forth between a free shaft and a line gun. And it was a bad idea the way I did it. I put a clip right there on the end of the shaft, but that kept actually making contact with the end of the gun. So the bands were hitting it sometimes and getting caught in it, and then other times it actually caught on the riser one time when I pulled the trigger. So yeah, that was a bad idea. It cost me several good fish. Not to mention my aim was not particularly good. So yeah, learned that lesson. Won't do that again.
Go ahead, Lewis.
So there's quite a bit of a time gap between the first video and the second video in this series. So this is Mr. Lewis McCall here. Came for a visit and went diving with me. It's been a while since he's been on a boat, a couple of years I think. And you can see here the viz is not too bad. And guess what? It is red snapper season, so I'm trying to kill a red snapper. Unfortunately, that didn't go too well. So I'm not exactly sure how he did it, but he actually broke my line right there, and that has implications in here in just a few minutes. That is exactly what it looked like. A wahoo swam by me on the bottom. That is just nuts. And I have no line on my gun because that red snapper broke it. So the only alternative that I have is to try to put a power head on and hope he gets close enough for me to be able to power head him. He never comes close enough for me to actually do that again. Now, he swam around Lewis for like 10 minutes, but I have a little bit of deco from hanging out on the bottom and trying to kill a red snapper, so I can't go up right away. And by the time I got up there, he had lost interest and kind of moved off. I think a diver on Chris Slog's boat actually shot this wahoo a couple days later.
Hey, get the disco ball in the water, and you get in the water, there's a wahoo swimming around. Hurry up! Get the ball in the water. Disco ball in the water. It's in my, but he was up at Lewis. He was like 30 feet above me, and I was like, when I first saw him, dude, he was between, like, me, well, hold on, closer than me to you. He came up right behind me, and I was like, holy f***. Here, take that power head off first. Okay, now take it.
You going off the ladder or you going off the side?
I'm going outside.
So this is kind of the same area. It's in the Megtooth area, a little bit north of there, I think. But anyway, spearfishing, kind of looking for some teeth maybe. Didn't see any. I dug a couple holes that you'll see here in a minute, but I didn't find anything until later on. But that wasn't any teeth. That was something tasty, good to eat. But the current's kind of moving on, as you can see the stuff floating by. Lewis didn't have a scooter, so I actually just told him to hold on to the line. I pulled him along behind me. Gave him a underwater scooter sleigh ride. So my aim was actually off a little bit. I had the line wrapped around my foot and actually just barely grazed him and went underneath him, and the power head went off right underneath his head. So I put two floats on here for two reasons. One, the first float's kind of old. I wasn't sure if it's going to make it to the top, and secondly, it's actually a pretty decent sized fish. So it ended up being 30 pounds, which wasn't too bad. I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Dude, we only get one gag per person, so when you're shooting these borderline fish,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of
I'm sorry. Lewis said shoot it, so I was like, okay, I gotta shoot it.
We had a really long stretch of time there where the Viz was really, really bad offshore. I mean, like 2 foot bad. So there was really no diving during that time period. And it went on for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks or so. This is right at the end of this time period where the Viz is starting to recover a little bit. And Beth and I went out and did a little bit of diving, but we didn't really spearfish, didn't see anything to shoot on this particular dive, but she did get a nice lobster here.
All right, she's in the water. 840. All right.
So this is the wreck of the NACO. It's about 65 miles from Carolina Beach, something like that, up to it. We barely caught the wreck, as you can see there. We're out in the sand behind the wreck. It's a little bit of a disappointment simply because the Viz is so bad. I mean, it's really bad. Well, it's got a lot of particulate in the water, and it's kind of murky and nowhere near as good as it was last time. And the big steering quadrant that sets up right on the wreck has been pulled over. I don't know if that was from a boat trying to anchor on it and pulled it over, or if it just, starting to fall over time. I don't know. But it used to stand upright. It was really pretty off the bottom, and now you can see it's leaned over there. But nevertheless, it was a long ride for that Viz. And you can see here we got some pompano. So you may see those again here in a few minutes. As you could see there, Carlton was going for a ride. Unfortunately, he didn't kill shot his. He kind of gut shot it a little bit, and it gave him a ride. So you'll look up, or you'll see me look up a couple times here in this next series of videos as I'm stringing my fish. You can see Carlton's up there just getting it handed to him by that pompano. Oh, it happens to us all. Now, I am not picking on Carlton here when I say this. That pompano wrapped him up like a Christmas present. He has got that spear gun wrapped around his tank, around all kinds of stuff, right? He was about to just cut the line, and he was frustrated and you can see here he's fighting it. I'm trying not to laugh. But I did. I can't lie. So I knew that Carlton was going to be low on air after fighting those pompano, and we both had some decode to get rid of because the wreck's about 135 feet. Might get to 140 or so on it. But anyway, so it was time to go. So we went on over to the anchor line, and I proceeded to send up my pompano on my dive sausage and a reel. The reason I do that is because there's like 200 barracuda underneath the boat right now. I didn't want to have to try to do deco fending off those barracuda the whole time. So a lot of times I'll do this. I'll send it up on that line. So I hit this fish right between the eyes, but the power head didn't go off. And then it goes over to the other side of the wreck, and Fred proceeds to use his power head. That's the bang you hear at the very end. It's kind of funny. Fred shot this fish through an opening underneath this piece of wreckage, and it's just holding on by the skin. You can see right there. It's the only thing holding that gag down. So I reach over and grab it, and I look around the corner, and Fred's over there looking for his fish. It's kind of funny. So both the shells that I have with me right now are actually wet. I didn't sell them directly, so they didn't go off because the powder was wet. I tried to switch over to a shaft. That didn't go a whole lot better. So I chased that fish down and shoot it again with a shaft. But I didn't do much better with the shaft. So you can see here, I hit the fish, of course, with the shaft, but there's a whole line of scales that's missing on the left-hand side there. That's from my power head from the first shot. Luckily, Fred picked him up a little later in the dive.